What if modern history came with an undo button? In the internet era, decisions by governments and tech giants can flip overnight. One change can affect millions of people, and so can the backlash that follows. Today, we're counting down the top 10 historical undos of the internet era, and you'll want to stick around for number 1 because it's something that affects all of us. Number 10, a global app nearly erased. TikTok has had more near bans in the United States than almost any app in history, and the biggest undo actually happened twice. It started in 2020 when the US government announced TikTok was a national security risk. There was a plan to ban the app completely unless it was sold. People panicked. Creators said their businesses would disappear. Teens flooded the internet with videos protesting the move. But the ban never actually happened. Courts blocked it, and in 2021 the next administration officially undid the order. TikTok stayed online, but the story wasn't over. In 2024, a new law set a hard deadline. TikTok would be banned in the US on January 19, 2025, unless it separated from its parent company. As the deadline hit, TikTok's US service suddenly dropped off. The app vanished from app stores, traffic collapsed. People saw messages saying the app was not available in your region. For a moment, it looked like TikTok had finally been shut down. Then, the very next day, the incoming administration delayed the enforcement of the ban. Within hours, TikTok began coming back online. 2 near bans, 2 dramatic reversals, and a platform that keeps surviving last-minute undos. It remains one of the most chaotic policy flip-flops of the entire internet era. Number 9. Facebook blocks news in Australia. Imagine waking up and discovering Facebook removed all news in your country. That actually happened in Australia in 2021. Australia passed a law that required big platforms to pay news publishers when linking to their content. Facebook said the law was unworkable. They argued they should not be forced to pay for simple links. So as leverage, Facebook blocked all news sharing in Australia. Well, the block was much larger than expected. It accidentally removed hospitals, emergency alerts, government pages, charities, and essential services. People were shocked and not happy. Critics said Facebook was endangering users just to win a political fight. Governments around the world condemned the move. Within 1 week, Facebook reached a compromise with the Australian government. News came back, emergency pages returned, and Facebook quietly reversed its hardline approach. Number 8. Instagram's algorithm push. You can think of Instagram's chronological feed like a giant photo wall where posts would appear in the order people shared them. It was simple, predictable, and as you scroll, you see the newest moments first. In 2016, Instagram replaced the simple chronological feed with an algorithm that decided what you should see. The company said this would help users see more of what matters. They believed the algorithm would show better posts, keep people engaged longer, and personalize everyone's experience. While users felt they lost control, creators said the algorithm buried their content, people missed updates from friends, celebrities complained, parents worried the algorithm was addictive, regulators worried the algorithm amplified harmful content and created echo chambers. Millions asked for the old feed back. In 2022, Instagram brought back following and favorites, which are 2 chronological feed options. And by 2025, the app even added a reset recommendations feature so you could wipe your algorithm clean and start fresh. So while this wasn't a clean undo, as Instagram never removed the algorithm completely, they did at least bring back chronological feeds as optional lanes on the app. It was a partial reversal that gave people at least some of their control back, more like a compromise between what Instagram wanted and what people demanded. Number 7. YouTube hides dislikes. In 2021, YouTube hid public dislike counts. The company said that this would stop coordinated harassment and protect creators from dislike mobs. It was framed as a mental health and safety measure. Well, viewers used dislike counts to judge video quality fast. Tutorials, product reviews, and news videos became harder to evaluate. Creators said transparency was lost. Viewers accused YouTube of protecting corporations from criticism. While YouTube never restored the dislike count, the internet did. Developers created extensions like Return YouTube Dislike, which rebuilt dislike numbers using public data and millions of user contributions. By 2025, the extension had millions of active users. A crowd-powered reversal. Number 6. Google Reader shutdown. For years, Google Reader was the main tool people used to follow the news. Journalists, researchers, and power users depended on it. It was simple, fast, and completely open. Then in 2013, Google shut it down. The reason was that usage was declining and they wanted to focus on other products. It looked like the end of the open RSS-powered internet, but something unexpected happened. People refused to let the idea die. Developers created new apps, open source projects multiplied, millions of users moved to tools like Feedly, InnoReader, and Fresh RSS. Google ended Reader, but the community undid the loss by rebuilding a whole ecosystem from scratch. RSS came back stronger, more independent, and more privacy-friendly than before. It's one of the most unusual undos of the internet era, not a corporate reversal, but a people-powered one. Number 5. The Start menu comeback. Imagine your computer as a house you know by heart. You know where every light switch is, you know where the front door is, you know how to get around without thinking. Then one day, Microsoft released Windows 8, and the front door disappeared. The classic start menu, the one billions of people used for decades, was replaced by a full-screen tile interface that felt more like a tablet than a computer. Microsoft's goal was somewhat understandable. They wanted one design that worked on both touchscreen devices and desktops, but users were confused. Businesses were frustrated. Teachers and students didn't know where anything went. The new interface slowed people down, and for many it felt like their computer had been rearranged without warning. Critics widely described it as a major mistake, as the removal was met with heavy user backlash. Microsoft then listened. In Windows 10, they brought the start menu back, not only restored but improved, combining the familiar menu with modern features. It was a rare, clean undo from a major tech company. Number 4. Reddit's API price hike. Imagine Reddit as a giant city made of neighborhoods called subreddits. Each neighborhood has volunteer moderators who keep things clean, safe, and organized. And many of these neighborhoods depend on helpful tools like maps, cleaning robots, and accessibility ramps built by third-party developers. In 2023, Reddit changed how those tools could connect to the city. They raised the price for API access so high that many apps would have to pay millions of dollars a year just to stay open. Reddit said the new fees would stop companies from taking Reddit's data for free, especially AI companies that were training their models on it. They also said the changes would prepare Reddit for a future IPO. From their perspective, it was about protecting their platform and business. But the price hikes didn't just hit big AI companies. They also crushed third-party Reddit apps people loved, tools moderators relied on, and accessibility apps used by blind and low vision users. Entire communities felt like their tools were being taken away overnight. Moderators warned they couldn't keep the neighborhood safe any longer. And users said Reddit was hurting the community that built the site in the first place. So thousands of subreddits went dark. Over 7,000 communities switched to private or read-only mode. Huge parts of Reddit simply shut themselves off in protest. Well, Reddit didn't reverse everything, but they did make important changes. Accessibility tools received free or discounted API access. Some moderation tools were allowed to stay, and essential bots and safety systems were spared. It wasn't a clean undo. Reddit kept the core pricing in place, but they did roll back the most harmful parts, a meaningful reversal powered entirely by the community. It remains one of the biggest user-driven protests of the internet era. A moment where entire neighborhoods shut off the lights to protect the tools that kept their city running. Number 3. Twitter Blue Verification Chaos. After buying Twitter in 2022, Elon Musk introduced paid verification. The goal was to eliminate elite checkmarks and give every user access to identity badges if they paid. It was meant to promote equality, fight bots, and add a new revenue stream. Well, anyone could impersonate anyone now. Fake accounts pretending to be brands like Eli Lilly caused confusion and even affected stock prices. Journalists and officials said the system destroyed trust. Users blasted the platform for creating more misinformation instead of reducing it. Within days, Twitter paused new blue signups. They restored an official gray badge, then added gold badges for companies and gray for governments. Some parts of the system were pulled back, rewritten, or restored at random. It became one of the most chaotic undos in social media history. Number 2, when the internet fought to save itself. Imagine the internet is a giant library that everyone shares. You can explore websites kind of like books on shelves. Some shelves have games, some have music, some have videos, some teach you things. Well, back in 2012, the US government wanted to stop people from stealing movies and songs online. That part made sense, but the bills they wrote, called SOPA and PIPA, went way too far. Their plan was like this. If one tiny corner of a website had something illegal on it, the government could block the entire website from the internet. It would be like shutting down an entire library because one person slipped a copied comic book onto a shelf. People realized that these rules could block innocent websites by accident, take away free expression, hurt small creators, break how the internet works, and give big companies too much control. So the internet did something it had never done before. Thousands of websites went dark for a day. Wikipedia turned off its pages. Google posted warnings. Millions of people wrote to Congress. And it worked. Within days, the bills collapsed. Lawmakers backed away, and the internet library stayed open. It became one of the most powerful undos in internet history, not because the government reversed a rule, but because millions of people stood up before the rule ever became law. Number 1, when the Internet Highway lost its rules. In 2015, the Federal Communications Commission, or the FCC in the United States... Wait a minute. Hang on a second. What is the FCC? So the United States has an agency called the FCC, which stands for the Federal Communications Commission. Think of the FCC like the traffic police of the internet. They don't control websites, but they do make the rules for how internet companies must treat the road that takes you there. They decide whether everyone gets the same speed, the same access, and the same fairness. They're the people who make the rules for the technology that we use to talk to each other. So in 2015, the FCC created a set of rules to keep the internet fair. Think of the internet like a giant highway. Every website is a destination, and your internet provider is the road you drive on to get there. The rule was simple. Everyone gets the same road. No slow lanes, no special fast lanes, no blocking certain destinations. All cars, all websites, all people, same speed, same access. Cool. But in 2018, the FCC, under a new leader that was appointed by Trump in his first administration, hit the undo button on the 2015 rules. They removed the fairness rules and changed the internet highway back to the old system. Now, internet companies were allowed to slow down some websites, speed up others, or create extra fast lanes that cost more money. Most companies haven't done extreme versions of this yet, but the important thing is the rulebook that protected the highway disappeared. That undo sparked protests, state laws, and court battles. And some states like California created their own laws to keep the highway fair inside their borders. Since then, the internet highway has been stuck in a loop. Some states enforce fairness rules, others don't. New FCC leaders tried to bring the rules back in 2024, but then a court knocked those rules down in 2025. And the debate keeps going in Congress and the courts. So today, the internet highway works mostly the same for most people, but the national safety rules that guaranteed fairness were undone in 2018 and never fully restored, and the country has been arguing about the internet highway ever since. It remains one of the biggest undos of the internet era. Most importantly, these moments show something powerful. The internet can push back. People can rewrite decisions, and sometimes the world really does get an undo button. So here's my question for you. What internet decision would you undo if you had the power? Let me know in the comments, and subscribe to see what we undo next.